Travis Tritt has long been one of the most underrated performers in country music. Tritt came to fame alongside such stars like Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson, and Clint Black. But my man TT always did things a bit differently. Travis never wore a cowboy hat, and his music was a bit grittier and more soulful than that of his contemporaries. And while he's never reached pop stardom, I don't think that's the path that Travis ever wanted to take. Instead, he has cultivated a die-hard fan base, and he's crisscrossed the country with his energetic stage show for years. But recently, it seems that the most thunderous train in country music might be screeching to a halt. So, is Travis really quitting music? Today we're diving deep into the dark history of country music's black sheep, as our story includes the secret history behind Travis's most classic songs, Travis's surprising relationship with his own daughter, and his involvement with the recent Bud Light controversy. Along the way, we'll hear tales of heartbreak, triumph, and even ghosts. Yup, even ghosts. So buckle up, because we're going where the corn doesn't grow for the real truth behind the outlaw and outsider himself, Travis Tritt. Before the show starts, please hit the thumbs up icon to show us some support, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Alright, you ready? Well, let's go find out.
What happened?
How Travis started. Travis Tritt did not have a silver spoon type of upbringing. The kid never had proper guitar lessons, he just taught himself to play by mimicking records over and over. And when Travis began playing, nobody really cared. He would book shows in loud and rowdy bars and pool halls, with nothing but his voice and an acoustic guitar. His competition wasn't Johnny Cash or Waylon Jennings, no, it was the dartboard. He could barely hear himself sing half the time. So what did he do? Well, he bought a Fender Stratocaster and a humongous amp. Supported by a 100-foot guitar cord, instead of trying to compete with the party, Travis decided to be the party. He would run around the bar and jump up on tables, basically do whatever kind of antics that would get him noticed. And this display of raw energy was finally able to get him noticed, and he carried over that manic energy into his own recordings. But while positive energy was the key to his early success, it wouldn't be enough to launch a real career. Dark times were ahead, and it was unclear if Travis or his career would last long enough for that next step. Here's a quarter. Travis Tritt's 1991 single is a simple, brutal, and bitter song. So much so that he was hesitant to release it. Personally, I think it's hilarious and an all-time classic. But what inspired this unlikely hit? Well, the early 20s are a complicated age for just about anybody. Whether you're partying it up with your red Solo cup in college, or struggling to break your way into the workplace, it is a time of uncertainty and often a ton of stress. But when Travis was in his early 20s, he was in an even tougher position than most, because the man was getting divorced for the second time. Travis had just been served divorce papers from his wife, Jody. That night, they talked on the phone. She expressed some uncertainty about the decision, and she floated the possibility of calling the whole thing off and getting back together. Travis, however, was conflicted. After hanging up, he took a long look at those divorce papers. He saw what Jody was asking for, royalties on royalties. And this was before he'd even made it that big. She wanted to suck him totally dry. And that's when he realized, no matter how tough breaking things off was, there was no going back from this. So he wrote a little song for himself just to cheer him up, something silly and petty. And Travis liked it enough to record it and decided to release it as a single. But get this, his record label advised against it, calling it nothing but a novelty ditty. But Travis had a gut feeling, just like when he looked at those divorce papers. He released it, and the rest, as they say, is history. Another singer in the family. Musicians know better than most how brutal the music industry can be, and many of them caution their kids against entering such a business. So what happened when Travis's daughter had a chance to follow his path? If you don't know, Travis Tritt is fiercely protective of his family, of his 2 sons, but particularly of his daughter Tyler. As a child, Tyler was a talented dancer and musician. She would often sing and perform at home with her dad. But soon the industry was aware of Tyler's talent, and they wanted in. Both Disney and Nickelodeon wanted her to do a show, but her parents did not want her to burn out as a child star. Then, years later, it seems that Tyler was ready to give show business a shot. She has put out several duets with her father and has embarked upon a solo career, releasing her own music and playing shows across the country. Only time, of course, will tell if Tyler has what it takes to make her own way in the world. Travis against Bud Light. Country music recently went to war against Bud Light, and we have an entire video if you want to watch who said what and why. But most notably, Kid Rock lit up a few cases of the beer, while other countless musicians denounced the brand. So what about Travis Tritt? Well, he has never been quite so theatrical as Kid Rock, so he didn't take up arms against the beer, but he still wasn't going to sit on the sidelines while his fellow comrades went to war. So Travis Tritt put out a public statement saying, quote, "I will be deleting all Anheuser-Busch products from my tour hospitality rider. I know many other artists who are doing the same." Well, the efforts of Travis along with his contemporaries seem to be a bit successful. So to find out how much of a massive dip in the market and the overall percentage drop, you'll have to watch that other video. Travis has seen ghosts. Country musicians are notably a tortured bunch, and it's said that many of them carry around their own demons. Most of the time, we talk about ghosts or famous figures like Hank Williams. But while this is just a metaphor, this is a factual statement from Travis, who recently shared a shocking experience he had with the paranormal. In 2015, Travis went on a TV program to share the following story, and whether it's true or not is kinda up to you to decide. In the early 1990s, Travis began staying at a lakeside cabin in the gorgeous Blue Ridge Mountains. This was 2 divorces prior, and he was a single guy at the time, going up to the cabin to have some time to himself. But he wasn't as alone as he thought. Beginning in 1993, Travis would hear voices in the cabin, strange words in a language he couldn't even understand. First, he tried to ignore them, but they continued year after year. After 1997, his wife, Teresa, accompanied him to the cabin, and Travis hoped the voices would finally stop, thinking maybe they were in his head the whole time. But to his absolute horror, Teresa heard the voices too. They got louder and louder, and footprints began appearing on the carpet. They eventually got so scared they stopped going to the cabin, pretty as it was. So what was going on? Well, the show's host conjured up a story of an African-American medicine man who had been brutally murdered on that property and now lingered there because Travis's soulful spirit resonated with his. So fact or fiction, what do you think about this tale? The canceled tour. If you're a fan of Travis Tritt, then you know he has been one of the most consistent live performers in music. But all that changed just a year ago. Something went horribly wrong. So, was Travis really quitting music? Let's find out. Travis, like many musicians, was excited to finally perform live again after the shutdown. And in 2022, he embarked upon a massive tour with musician Chris Janson. But something seemed horribly wrong. Travis canceled a slew of dates, and his future in music was uncertain. So what happened? Well, Travis had suffered a serious injury. He tore a meniscus in his left knee, and it required serious surgery. Now for the good news. Travis recovered well and was up and running quickly. Today, he is back on tour, barnstorming across the country with the country soul rock hybrid we all know and love. Travis Tritt, a man with not skeletons in his closet, but ghosts in his cabin. So now we need to hear from you all. What do you think? Do you think Travis Tritt has what it takes to be one of the country music greats? Do you have a personal favorite song of his? Please give me some recommendations. Are you a fan of his recent stuff, or do you like his older albums better? Get in the comments and let us know your thoughts. And while you're there, tell us who we should cover next. Before you run away like you're being chased by a ghost, please give this video a thumbs up, it really helps. Subscribe to our channel and come back often so we can keep telling you what happened.
What happened?